Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another GeoGuessr video. It's Play and Explain Sunday once again, and I figured, the unranked duels were such a success. People said they did like the format. Figured I might as well bring it back for another Sunday here, and we'll be doing moving, no move, and NPZ, all three modes. And I'm going to try to explain my every move and thought process. We'll try my best on moving. I'm not the greatest moving player knower of things, but we'll try our best, and yeah, we'll see you guys when I find my first opponent. All right, game here against GeoAxel, and it's going to be on NMBZ to start. And we start off in a pretty recognizable location. We do have the sun pretty far in the north with the shadows casting south, and we have yellow outer lines here, and then an abundance of pine trees, just kind of a pine forest here, which is quite common in Eswatini, especially with the Generation 3 camera here, not as crisp, colors aren't as vivid as the Generation 4 camera, and Eswatini and Lesotho both stuck in Gen 3. So yeah, we should be in Eswatini here. There are two places that I would probably go with this kind of pine forest, which would be south of Mbabane and then near Pig's Peak. Your pick to determine which one it could be. But those were the two places that I would send, personally. And it was just Pig's Peak there. Going to be 243 points, with our opponent pretty close over the border in South Africa. All right, we'll move on to what looks like a United States round here. We do have the backlight of the car, which this red big backlight, quite commonly found in the Americas, both South America and North America, and other places in Asia and stuff like that. But you typically won't see the colored car and then the red backlight in Europe. As for the plate, it looks like an Idaho one with the red stripe at the top, blue stripe at the bottom, and a white section in the middle. Does it look like Idaho? Not entirely, but I think we'll have to trust the plate here, and we're just going to have to go somewhere up in the north part of Idaho here. Not the north part, but like the mountainous part, rather. And it was Idaho, pretty close to Yellowstone, which I guess makes a lot of sense with the dry hills. Coverage a bit different here, pretty high altitude stuff. This one, you do get some pretty high altitude stuff as well, but it's more of a, not as much of a layered hill kind of situation as we do get where I've clicked. All right, we are in Argentina here. It looks like sun is pretty north. We are driving on the right, as we can tell by this dust trail here, and it's a very flat looking landscape. We're going at a slightly northwest angle, which could fit for a lot of places. There are good places right here that do fit near Cordoba, so I'll probably just leave it there. It is all the way up here. Fair enough. It's just a kind of a weird angle on the 7, but we do both get Argentina there. Move on to round 4. Okay, not quite sure what this one is. We do have a pine forest, much like last time, but this time the sun is pretty much in the south. You can kind of tell with the shadows casting north here. I would reckon. House there is weird. We have a red roof with, I don't know, it looks just like maybe a rest stop or something there. I don't know if it's an actual house. And then we have wooden poles, which are quite common in Europe throughout the Mediterranean, and I would probably say it's probably one of those, if I had to make a guess. And with the dryness of the landscape and the pine forest, I am leaning more towards Spain, I guess. It could be Greece as well, as another possibility. Maybe with the wood pole, Greece is a bit better. But my first lean was Spain, so we're just going to go Valencia here. And it is just Spain, but north of Madrid there. They do go Greece oh no, they go Turkey, which I think is also quite understandable, getting that Mediterranean vibe there with those pines. All right, this one is going to be Gen 3 once again, so we're probably in Eswatini again. Two Eswatinis in the same duel. We do have north sun, yellow outer lines, and we are driving on the left. And yeah, it looks kind of like the southern road, I'd say. So something on the MR11, kind of with this open landscape to the north, not as many houses. Yeah, we'll just leave it somewhere down here. And it is the MR11 all the way down here, which is going to be some points. I mean, Eswatini region guessing somewhat matters, but not entirely. We'll take it, though. We'll move it around 6. As we have a Mexican kilometer marker. The Mexico, like shield kind of situation thing. Usually says Mexico, and then it sometimes has the road number underneath where it says Mexico there. On this occasion, it doesn't. This is kind of a more difficult location. Pretty red soil here. I first thought was this Durango, Sinaloa area. These hills kind of look similar to stuff that you get very close to Mexico City. So that is kind of a tougher 50-50. Trees do feel a bit more north, but you do get a lot of pine trees in this area as well as around Mexico City. High altitude stuff. Yeah, I think I'm just going to lean more towards Durango here, and we'll try it. And it's Oaxaca there. Okay. I mean, yeah, kind of a tough one. We both do end up going Durango. So my opponent also getting that vibe as well. All right, round 7. We do have the front of the car here. Looks striped. Sun is kind of ambiguous, but I would say with the corn and this wooden pole, I'm probably thinking somewhere in North America, either Canada or the United States. Big dirt road. It could be Canada for sure, but the trees do feel a bit more warm. And I think with corn, the default click is probably to go Iowa. But it does feel like it could be a bit more out in Kansas or Nebraska, so I'm going to head a bit for that. And it was Nebraska there, right on the border, but we do get the win off of that. Just felt very plainsy with the flatness, and we do pick up a win there, counting towards our mission as well. All right, well, let's move on to another duel. We do get Axel once again, geoaxel, and we are in Russia here to start. These guardrails are quite common in Russia, with like the small black painted sections and then the long white painted sections. And as for where this one is, kind of feels... This is kind of a hard location. Russia NMPZ especially is very hard. You guys have seen Finbar struggle with that himself, and he is the best Russia player in the world. Soil's kind of dark on these shoulders, which pushes me more towards the Ural area. My map's not going to load here, but I think I've clicked in the Ural Mountains, so that's where I'll leave it. And it was Kemerovo or something. Yeah, pretty close to... Abakan, Kemerovo area there. Kind of a tough one. They just go Moscow. I'm not here to give tips on NMPZ Russia, though. Not the best at that. Okay, what are we looking at here? So we have kind of red soil. It's slightly brown tinted red, I'd say. Sun is north, I guess. This shadow is casting quite south on the tree, so we should be in the southern hemisphere. I can't tell which side of the road that we're driving on, though. And I'm not sure if this is Brazil or Australia. My first thought was Brazil, but the road feels a bit weird, so... Okay, it was Australia. The road felt a bit weird with that just darker gray gravel, I think, for Brazil. And maybe the soil would have been a bit more red. So yeah, we do get the Queensland vibe there, because that would have been my other thought with how tropical kind of it looked. All right, looks like we got yellow or white center lines, double white center lines, and sun is north here with the shadow. So we should be somewhere in Chile on this one. And I'm going a bit too south there, most likely. But Temuco is a default click, quite flat in this occasion. And yeah, it was out there near Temuco on the main yellow road there. Opponent's sending kind of fast, so I'm trying to collect my thoughts and explain as much as I can. As we move into this round, which is... Once again, we do get NMPZ. These houses look quite Soviet style, I'd say. Blue roof is especially Russia-Ukraine to me, at least. That being said, I don't know if this is Russia or Ukraine. This is a very hard location. We can't really see anything because we're kind of going up a hill, so we can't see the landscape. All we can see is this town here. I guess the default click would just be to click somewhere east of Moscow, like just hedging for this entire area. But I could see a Ukraine as well, although the coverage on this dirt road kind of being a bit weird. It is out here near Ufa, which is kind of a tough get. If anybody knows Russia, let me know how to get that. Looks like they're hedging for both Russia and Ukraine there. Okay, once again, we do get a bit of a tougher location in 2022 here. Um, hmm. I feel like this fence feels very European style. But as for where in Europe, I'm not really too sure. It doesn't feel quite right for Austria, although we do have some pretty decently sized mountains. Thought about, SK, okay. It does make some sense. They end up going for Alpine France, which I think makes sense with the mountains as well. But yeah, kind of a tough Slovakia there, which is fair enough. All right, we do have rifts here, it looks like, which with the antenna combination, the antenna should put us in Europe here, and then with the rifts, most common in both Albania and Montenegro. I think this looks more like Albania, because I can't think of where in Monte would have this wide of a road with mountains like this, but I mean, it is possible. I did think about stuff like here in this area, but I think the valley's a bit too wide, maybe. And it is Albania, but all the way down here. Sure. We do get the country right. We'll take it. 506 points, moving around 7, 2.5x damage. We'll probably remove NMPZ from the queue after this. Because I want to get a variety of games in. All right, all white lines. Usually the default thinking is to go Europe there on that one, and it looks like we do have a little German bollard there with the black wrapping around a somewhat thicker white bollard. Looks kind of middle-ish to me. I think with these rolling hills, not absolutely massive ones, and yeah, it was quite middle, and we do get the win off of that, so GG's to our opponents. And we do get our win 2 duels. We'll claim that for our club. And we'll remove NMBZ from the queue. We'll queue up for moving and no move here. And looks like it might take a little bit. So I'll see you guys when I find an opponent. All right, game here against Dan in moving. We'll see how long this goes. He's a much better player than me. We do have Abuja on the sign there. So probably just slam that one in. And I assume he's going to find something here. He's at the same intersection that I was, and he will see Abuja on there, so we'll both be just slamming that. And Nyanya was also on the sign, and that was the little suburb there, but no need to complicate things when it's only going to be like max 20 points of damage. We are in India here. It looks like we do have Gujarat holy poles on this one. Now in India, I'm mainly looking for stuff in Latin script. I know that's quite obvious, but there is a lot of just Hindi or other languages when you're in southern India that can make things a bit more complicated. So you typically want to get a good grasp on the language before you oh, he's actually in small cam here. And is anything readable? I don't think he can read Gujarati. I would assume not. Could be wrong on that. Looks like a pretty big city though. It ends up being Chehota there, which is about as far east as you can get in Gujarat. I guess that's why we did have some Hindi. Although I do know Gujarat does use some Hindi from time to time. But yeah, once you get a good grasp for the language, then you can get a good grasp for the region. So you want to know the language first. International rep Argentina. What? Confused by that sign? This usually tells me the town. Frey. Why is it blurred? It's Frey something. Why is it blurred? Okay, well. Frey Bentos, I guess? Yeah. That does make sense. I don't know, I guess. No, we're actually downtown. I'm actually blind for that. Yeah, I mean, this makes way more sense. I was passing houses to the south, but it's fine. I guess it was a border sign for Argentina. It's kind of what I thought first, and that's kind of why I moved to scanning there. Mikulu. Do I know that? It looks like Limpopo. We do have some Limpopo style poles. So Mikulu. It's probably findable. I just don't know where it is. It's here. Okay. Um, yeah, maybe I could have looked in there. He just slammed Pretoria. I'm actually surprised by that. Maybe he's not confident in his Za moving, but I mean, I feel like he should be confident in everything because he is just a very good moving player in general. So just a better moving player than me. We do have New Brunswick sign on here, and we're looking at the 3. Where is the 3 in New Brunswick? The 3 is here. Harvey. Somewhere here. Where? Are we just on this thing? Nice. That is a 5K. We will take the 50 points. Kind of just using the road numbers there to line it all up. And we do have a slight lead, but it's not going to matter too much, especially in Thailand. I don't know if Dan can read Thai. He might be able to. That wouldn't surprise me. The only thing that I really know is phone codes here. We do have a lot of coconut palm spam, and a good indication for, I would say there's about 7 ridges on there, which would probably point me towards peninsula as well. You do get the longer ridged insulators on the peninsula and in Chiang Mai or Chiang Rai. I'm not sure which one. But one of the two. And the fact that he's choosing to move about on this round is a little bit scary to me. Okay, we do have signs up here. So maybe this will... Okay, we do have some white signs here. Will I recognize either of these two? No, it's just to a road and a temple. Khao Lan Waterfall, Bo Thong Long Bay. Yeah, I don't know. We're all the way up here. 60 to... Don't know where the bay in question is, but I guess we didn't have long insulators because we were on this part of the peninsula. I believe the long insulators start in Surat Thani. This looks like Pacific Northwest somewhere. I'm not sure if it's... Should probably check the blur. Looking like US blur, I think. Will the bins tell me anything? Usually they don't on the West Coast. A lot of them are just handled by a company. They might say something, I just couldn't really read it. All right, we're onto a main road now. I'm gonna set a checkpoint here. Usually when I get to a main road, I set a checkpoint, and then if I need to go the other way, then I can always shoot back to that checkpoint, is the plan. I think we did have mile on that mile marker there. So we can confirm without having to look at the car as well that we are in the US. I guess we should look at this plate to see what kind of plate it is. Looks like a Washington one. With like Mount Rainier on it, on the bottom there. Washington plates and Oregon plates are quite recognizable, where Oregon has the little tree in the middle, and then Washington is going to have the big, Mount Rainier at the bottom of the plate, with a lot of white space at the top. Not sure if I'm getting too much of anywhere with this way, so we will go the other way. I don't know if I'll find anything, really. It seems very unlikely that we'll find anything, but we'll see. Doesn't look like we're finding anything. I wonder why this location is in the map. Okay, maybe we're reaching civilization here. I'm seeing a bit more houses, potentially. We're pretty... Okay, we do have something here. Can I read it, though? Why can I not? Okay. St. Andrews Drive, Station 54. That's about all I got on that one. We will set a checkpoint there. Doesn't say anything on this billboard. It's probably just going to be the business name. Lake Limerick is our place. Will I find Lake Limerick? It's probably going to be a 2-population village. So do I keep moving for more, or do I just start scanning? I guess we can just start scanning. My first thought was Olympic National Park, but it could just be kind of anywhere. Lake Limerick. Yeah, this is not good. He's guessed. Maybe he's found it. It's possible. I guess I'm just going to click around the Seattle area. There's a lot of lakes, like, to the east of it. It's here. Okay, that's a good find. It was on that Olympic Peninsula, or, like, kind of, I guess. But yeah, I he must have gotten somewhere. I'm not sure where. Okay, we're in Australia here, driving left. We do have the yellow signpost, so we should be in the Western Australia area. Can I get out of here? Or should I be looking at bins? Maybe I should be looking at bins. Maybe I won't be able to find bins. Okay, we have Ellenbrook School of Early Learning. Great, great. Did have some hills to the east there, so I'm thinking we're probably just in Perth. Just one of the Perth suburbs, Trans-Perth. So we are just in Perth, but Perth is a pretty big place. Can I read that? I couldn't really. Duadnet? But I don't know if that's the place name. It's probably not. Okay, well, he's sent. I'm not sure what he's found here. Okay, I mean, we are in Perth, so it shouldn't be too many points. We did have some mountains, so I'm probably just going to click somewhere here, and it was up here near the... Did it say the vines? I don't know if it did, really, but good find, whatever he found there. Must add a sign for something up here. And we are in Peru on this one, Gen 4, quite northern. Avenue Huancayo, I'm not gonna take that as bond. We don't necessarily have to be in Huancayo here. And he's found something. Well, that's not good, I'd say. Guess we're just going Ayacucho. Okay, it was actually just Huancayo. Well, I mean, I mean, that's a little unlucky that the name of the road was Huancayo there. All right, we do have France here, which is probably suboptimal for me. Because he's probably going to know phone codes and I won't. Florac. Heard of Florac? I don't know if I have... I mean, it looks alpine, or like somewhere down here, not necessarily alpine, but in the hills next to the Alpine Mountains. Florac. Maybe Florac is big. I feel like 56 away. Figiac. I think we'll just leave it somewhere up in here. And I just hope he can't find a phone code. I mean, he doesn't see Florac either. His region guess is more so straying towards the Pyrenees, though, which is possible. I'd say. He's just clicking middle, it looks like. And it's here. Florac is... where? Is it this? No, that's Milau. No idea. I don't see it. Okay. Well, we move into Indonesia here, driving left. A lot of motorbikes as well on the road, which is quite common in Indonesia. I would like to send as soon as possible because I don't know cabs. And they do, most likely. Pole is asymmetrical. We do have these roofs, which I think are... Wait. Are they the West Sumatra ones, or are they the... I always get these confused. Is it the West Sumatra ones, or is it the Sula ones? Oh, Jeff. I forget which ones are which. This is not good. Okay, it does say Rante Pao, so I know Rante Pao. Yeah, I've trolled there. Can't lie to you. Good thing. Good thing we looked for info. I always get the two roofs confused because they're quite similar. The West Sumatra ones and the Rante Pao roofs, but yeah, those are commonly found in Rante Pao. Sun Peaks Resort. We do have Kamloops to our somewhere. And Kamloops is here, so Sun Peaks is here, which maybe they don't know it. It's possible. Kamloops is on the sign, though. Okay, yeah, they have found it. I mean, not really doubting that they will. They are looking for the 5K, though. Don't think that fits. But there they are. They were zooming in on the 5K at the end there, but it's only going to be 15 points, so not that big of a deal. Kind of sent. Usually when you have info like that, you don't necessarily try to 5K. You usually try to just send to try to put pressure on your opponent. And we are in Brazil here, so it is going to be an area code. The main thing you're looking for in Brazil is going to be area codes. And if you don't know Brazil area codes, I would encourage you to learn. I kind of know them. Like, I do know them, but, you know, sometimes they need a refresher. And we have an area code here, I think. Did we? 3-4, which is like out here somewhere, like western Minas Gerais, I do believe. They have gotten to a main road. Will they find an area code though? I don't know if they've found one yet. Yeah, I think they have the area code. They just were looking for a place name. It does end up being quite east in that 3-4 area. But yeah, ends up being the Lago Formosa there. Moving around 14, still alive. And Russia or Ukraine is not necessarily something that I like to see. I can read Cyrillic, of course, but that's not going to tell me anything besides like an automotive shop or something. I think it's Ukraine, right? I'm actually still not sure. I thought it was Ukraine, but now it's looking like a Russian antenna. I mean, I know you can get this antenna in Ukraine. Interesting. We do have water there to our north. I think it's Ukraine, man. It's hard to say, though. We have water. We could just be looking at this stuff. Like, do I just go Cherkasy? I'm gonna try to force the issue here. I could be wrong. It's just when the car is not showing, like this usually points me towards Ukraine. Okay, and we do get it. It is Cherkasy. That is going to be game. We will take the win there. We did see that big body of water. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that moving game. And do we have time for one more? I think we're going to call it there. We did get 2 NMPZ games in and 1 moving game. So, no, actually, you know what? We'll queue up for a no-move game. I will see you guys when I find my next opponent here. All right, quick queue pop against Vuk here. From Serbia, very solid player. And we are in Thailand to start. White car. Driving, well, hard to say. We're just coming around the bend, but we do have the concrete block pavement, which is quite common in Thailand. And it does end up being in Trot there, which I guess is an option with the rubber trees. Where he went in the peninsula also fits. Single yellow center line. We do have the white outer lines. Interesting kind of exposed car here, but we should be in Mexico. Big overhead sign, green background on it as well. Does fit for Mexico. Where's this? We have a pretty big body of water there, which is interesting. Thought about stuff here. It's not exactly right though with the landscaping, I think. I think I'll just leave it in Michoacan somewhere. And it was, yeah, just this lake up here. I kind of just sent around all of these lakes. But a nice get from Vuk there. To get that one. Moving around 3. In Brazil, striped car. Here, blue stripe, white outer. 2023. And we do have supports on the pole. Supports on the poles in Brazil are your best friend. So I would highly encourage you to look at those. And as for where, probably just gonna be clicking somewhat in Mato Grosso do Sul here. And it was Mato Grosso do Sul, but all the way down here, which is kind of tough. Because we do not a lot of points there, but we do get the state correct. All right, we do have a red car here with the short outer dashes, so it should be in Sweden here, not Finland. Apologies. And to my knowledge, the red car is distributed a bit more in the southern part of the country. I don't think it went like that far north. So you can kind of hedge for most of the stuff. It is quite hilly. This area is quite flat, so you don't really need to hedge for that. And I'm probably just going to click around Stockholm here. Yeah, it was closer to Norway, which makes sense with the hilliness. We'll move into round 5. And what do we got here? It looks like maybe the Philippines. We do have some thatched houses here, which is quite common in the southern half of the Philippines. I think everything fits for that, right? I think so. And with these big mountains, I'm probably only considering Mindanao, so I think that's what I'm doing. And it was Mindanao there. With the thatched houses, we're just up on this white road up here, and we do get the quick game there. So we do pick up a win. And that's actually probably where I'm going to leave us off. Talking a bit more about the thatched houses here. We have one right here. I guess it's not really a house. It's more of a, well, I guess it kind of is an extension of the house. But yeah, these thatched houses, quite common in the southern half of the Philippines. You won't really see this kind of thatched house in like Indonesia or like other places that you can consider in place of the Philippines, like Colombia or other stuff like that. So this is a good key for that area. Okay, that's where we'll finish off today. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below as well. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, of course. And I will see you guys tomorrow for another GeoGuessr video. Peace.